I'm from the States. I'm excited for this weekend, and I think this weather has been incredible. Now that the small talk is done, we can go to the big topics. I've been thinking a lot about my legacy. Thinking about how I'll be remembered, right? Like, thinking about the past and how we only know it by what's left behind, and what's left behind is just a random fraction of what is. You know, like, I've been thinking that I should stop having a 4 p.m. coffee, because it's when I have a 4 p.m. coffee that I stay up at night just thinking about my legacy in the past. You know what I mean? Like, there's something so, like, exciting and optimistic about, like, a 4 p.m. coffee, where you're just like, yeah, my early evening could have a bit of a pick-me-up. It was great for a while, but you don't choose when the pick-me-up puts you down. You know what I mean? It's late as midnight, and you're ready to go to bed, and your brain is like, nah, I ain't done thinking yet. Now's the time for the big thoughts, you know? Which is good. Like, I do just mostly have big thoughts. Like, they're not like the looping anxious thoughts. Like, those I save for the day, but at night it'll just be like, do you think history's a fiction? Is the past just a story poorly retold? You know, probably, right? Because yeah, it is true. Like what we know of history is just what's left behind, and what's left behind is just what can be preserved, and that's kind of random, right? Like I think of like the stuff that I want to be remembered for, like the things that I'm proudest for. They don't even gather dust, right? Like I'm talking, of course, of the laughter. I don't deserve that laugh. No, but it's true. Like, I don't know, like, think for a minute, like, let's all think about, like, the ancient civilization of Samaria, right? And, like, I know most of you are like, we already were. But, like, for those of us who weren't, right? Like, because, like, ancient Samaria is, like, this, like, 5,000 to 6,000 year old civilization that we know about because of, like, the clay tablets that they left behind. Because they were also, like, one of the earliest forms of, like, known writing. But, like, most of what they wrote down was just, like, administrative documents. So, like, most of what we know about Samaria is just that they really loved copper and trading it for stone, right? And, like, I'm sure they did more, right? Like, they're also probably incredible dancers. But you can't write dance down, right? Now, I didn't get a laugh probably because of dance notation. What I'm trying to say is the map is not the territory, right? I know that dance notation exists, but it loses something, right? And I think that there's probably a lot going on in Samaria that has since been lost, right? That we don't know. And it's something that we're still doing now. Like, it's the same problem. We always record the wrong things, right? Like, for example, I was reading recently about a data center that has been built into the center of a Swiss mountain. And, like, that's, like, the draw of it, is that it's inside of a mountain behind, like, impenetrable wall after impenetrable wall. And, like, they do that because they say that this data center can withstand any blast. Like, it can, like, last through a nuclear blast. Like, all the data on the servers in there will still hold because of where it is. And most of what the data center, like, most of what the servers are holding are just banking records, right? Yeah, it's, like, so depressing to think that, like, the point of view is that once everything is gone, like, once the big blast has happened, and we've all recovered, and we're all crawling back under the surface, the main thing, the first thing we're going to want to know is whether we've accumulated any fees. And, like, I try to be modest about my comedy. I will say that, how did that get around? I'm incredibly humble about it. The level of craft I'm bringing and how casual I am about it. But when I do try to be modest about my comedy. But I will say that I do think that my jokes are better than my overdraft fees. But only one of them is going to outlast society. You know what I mean? It's going to be the fees, right? And, like, again, like, think for a minute about, like, the Sumerian city-states, right? Like, we know all about the Sumerian city-states, right? We know about Ur and Uruk and Lagash and Nibiru. Like, we know that they were all bound together by a shared language and infrastructure and like central administration. What we don't know about the cities is whether or not they had vibes. You know what I mean? Like, we know that and Uruk both had writing, but did Uruk write much better? You know, they're just cooler about it because, like, Uruk had, sure, the aqueducts and the outer walls and the central ziggurat common to all city-states, but it also had a thriving cafe scene. You know what I mean? Like, do you think that, like, youths in would, like, vacation to Uruk? And then, like, it would change them, and then they would try to bring it up in casual conversation with their friends. And they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm using a reed stylus to press this cuneiform into the clay tablet, instead of the bone stylus, which is traditional for the city-state of Uruk. It must... It's in Uruk that they use reed. It must be... I spent the summer, did I tell you? Yes! You told us about that summer, right? Or like they like try to adopt an accent, right? Like an Uruk accent, like organically, acting as if it just sort of happened because they were there, which I'm not going to do. Comedians probably shouldn't do accents, especially when the accent is a regional dialect of a dead language. It just comes out Scottish, right? But I don't know, like I think that conversation probably happened exactly as I described it. Like the you talking about vibes, because my theory of like human development is that vibes came first, right? Like before anything else. Wait, was that just a... That was a new noise that I didn't understand, but we'll talk about that later. That was great. I wanted to get into this and I legit had a 4 p.m. coffee, and now I just feel locked in, and not a good way. Sorry. What I was trying to say is that my theory of human development is that vibes came first. Like before tools, before technology, before cities, like we had vibes. Because like humanity is like quite old, right? Like Homo sapiens are like 250,000 years old, but cities are only like 10 to 12,000 years old, maybe. So there's a whole stretch of time where we're doing something. And I think it was probably having big thoughts, right? Because I think like big thoughts probably came to us quick, which is an interesting idea, right? Like of when did we develop our rich inner lives? That's something I think about, usually at 3 in the morning. I think complex thoughts came quick, right? Because like, we can think of like lesser animals, supposedly lesser, that have like rich lives and points of view, like dogs, right? Like dogs have like complex emotions and points of view and such, right? Like for example, like growing up, I had a dog named Foster, and one time, like my whole family was in the lounge, and Foster was sleeping, and as he was sleeping, he farted, but he farted so loud that he woke himself up, and then we all laughed, and he saw us laughing, and then he started barking and ran to the door, pretending that the fart was like a knock he heard. Right? And so in that moment, he was feeling like a whole range of emotions, right? Like he felt embarrassment about what just happened. He had a sense of his reputation, right, that might be like marred, which meant that he had a notion of like not only just social order, but like social norms. You know, he was coming up with a scheme to get through it, and he also had incredible hope that the scheme would work, right? Like he had all that, but what he didn't have was thumbs. Or the ability to make tools. And we have both, right? I guess what I'm wondering is, do you think that like cavemen also had big thoughts, right? Like do you think that like cavemen, like way back when, prehistoric time, were like kept up late at night for reasons other than the threat of saber-toothed tiger attack? Maybe they weren't thinking about their noble past. Like, they're probably just having anxiety, like going over things that they said during the day, and they made a fool of themselves, right? Which they couldn't have said much, right? Because like language was new. They probably had maybe 4 words, like mother, father, fire, and night. But that's enough. That's enough to embarrass yourself, to point at the fire and call it mom, you know? And now they're up being like, I hope Gru didn't remember and hear me say that. But of course Gru remembers, because they got nothing else going on. All they have is memory and stars, right? So like, I think it was that. I think for like 250,000 years, we were just vibing and dancing and laughing and coming up with aesthetic theory and philosophy and all of that. And then after a while, we're like, should we also invent chairs? Maybe a wall to sit on? You know, a wall to sit on. You don't sit on a wall. Well, Humpty Dumpty did. He did famously sit on a wall. But Humpty Dumpty is not real. We think, right? But we can't know. And that's what I'm saying, is that so much is unknowable, right? And I'll end with this. I'll end with the recent discoveries of Göbekli Tepe, right? Any Göbekli Tepe heads in the audience? One day I will find my other. Anyway, Göbekli Tepe is this archaeological, like relatively recent archaeological discovery, like in like 30, 40 years. And it's a city of sorts, like a settlement that has upended our entire notion of the past, right? Because one, the city is like 12,000 years old, which is much earlier than we thought we were building cities. But also Göbekli Tepe is a place that seems to have been made by hunter-gatherers, which is changing our notion of when cities were made, because we always thought that we were hunter-gatherers until we discovered agriculture, and then agriculture let us settle down and then we built cities. But this is a city that seems to have been made before the concept of agriculture, right? So we have like walls and roads and rooms, but we don't have food storage in it, right? Which is interesting. But not only that, in all of the rooms of Göbekli Tepe, they're just filled with 9-foot-tall penis statues. That's true. And all I'm wondering is if there was some Göbekli Tepe citizen late at night in their room looking at their dozens of 9-foot-tall penis statues and thinking, is this how I'm going to be remembered? Is this my legacy? What about the dance? Thank you.